My mother was an integral part of the first program. I know the parents used to meet on a regular basis. We didn't have textbooks. They made photocopies, and they would meet and decide how things were going to go forward and work with us over the summer. Even though, Andrew, I know you said that we lost a lot over the summer, they were actually working with us and making sure we were doing our homework. So, how did we fare? I am incredibly grateful for the program and think I have had incredible luck with my life because of the Spanish immersion program.
All right, so that concludes the immersion graduate part of the panel, and now we're going to move on to people who look at, who are going to provide us some input on what they've seen in terms of the impact more sort of globally or more in terms of the numbers. So we'll start with James Orihuela, I hope I got that more or less right, who is a teacher at Patrick Henry Cade School in Long Beach Unified School District, a bilingual social studies teacher for 4 years, a Spanish language arts teacher in a dual language program for grades 6 through 8 for 15 years, and a program coordinator for 10 years, a lecturer at Loyola Marymount University for the past 2. He's received two-way CABE Teacher of the Year Award in 2004 and the Millikan National Educator Award in 2005.
Thank you. Glad to be here. Yeah, sadly, I can't say I was an immersion student. I sure wanted that for myself, which is why I ended up being the second best thing, I guess, which is an immersion teacher. And really, the things that were brought up are things that I'm always talking about, because at the secondary, as I had mentioned in the earlier session, it always comes to that question, why should they continue? Why should they be in immersion? Especially for me, why secondary? On a short term, the things I try to explain to parents is really that you're able to maintain that community of parents. Because really, when they've been in immersion, sorry, I can't say what she said. Really, when we talk about the community of parents, these are parents that have been together since kindergarten in many cases, and they know each other, and they've worked with each other, and whenever one kid missed their homework, they know who they can call and say, what was the homework, or I'm going to be late, can you pick up my child? And they build this community amongst themselves. And really, that's one of the things that I talk about, that if they maintain that through the secondary years, they're able to maintain that community of parents for another 3 years, where there are really 3 critical years in a student's development. The other one, of course, is the community of students that's developed. We end up having students in our program. We have African American students, we have Anglo, we have Hispanic students, we've had Asian students. We have this true mix of students, and really what ends up happening with this community of students is they learn to not tolerate each other, but to accept each other. And I think that's a real powerful thing in a society when they're going to have global interaction, that they really learn to accept that there are differences and understand that that doesn't make them a bad person or anything. It's just those are differences that exist amongst cultures. And then, of course, also I get parents to now I can tell them that this is not just a program that's good for your students. As a teacher, I don't need to say that, because now as a parent, I can say this is a program that are good for all students. In fact, I have my own students in this program, and that tells you from a teacher's perspective what I think of this program. I enrolled my own 2 kids into this program. On the long-term benefit, it's really thanks to past graduates and researchers who have a lot more data of exactly what are the long-term effects and what have been the successes of students who've gone through these programs. It's really that now we have the data and the experience to communicate this to parents, to show them what are the long-term, because obviously if we're only looking at what is the success in English in 2nd grade, you're not going to see a whole lot, and that's what parents are biting their nails, wondering, did I do the right thing? Did I really do the right thing? You know, they're looking at their EO peers, and they're doing great compared to their own students, and they start to wonder, did I do the right thing? Well, the goal isn't really that they excel in 2nd grade, it's that they are college prepared and ready to excel when they finish their schooling. Really, this is a program that takes time to develop that, and parents need to understand that and see the data that that's exactly what it leads to. Along those lines, going into high school, which has been our transition, some of the things that have come up with immersion students in the experience has been that really, since they're so far advanced in their language development, they really top out very soon as to what high schools can actually offer them. As I say, my 8th graders just took the AP language test. If they get the college credit for that, they will not have met the high school credit requirement, but they might have met the college requirements, their A through G requirements. So the only thing really that's left for them in the language, if they stayed at the high school, is AP Spanish literature. And again, I'm not sure who was the one who said it earlier, but that was exactly what was happening with our students. They would get to high school after having read Don Juan Tenorio, Lazarillo de Tormes, Bodas de Sangre by Garcia Lorca, and Don Quixote de la Mancha, and then they would end up being placed in Spanish 1-2, the Hola, ¿cómo está usted class? And really, it was almost like starting over for them, almost an insult. So really, it was trying to create a more seamless transition for these students. Of course, we've been able to get some of our students into the translation program through Cal State Long Beach with Alexander Reinhoff. Some of them are able to take their courses directly to the community colleges now, and that's if they want to stay within the language. The one thing that we start to say is if they've topped out on what they can offer you, start a third language, which is what we keep hearing here, the multilingual aspect of it. And that's exactly what we're starting to see. Now, how did they fare? My past students, again, 15 years, so we have students who graduated from college now. And one of the concerns that parents had, again, why? Because they were not just concerned on the language side, they were concerned on the academic side. Are they developing language at the expense of the academics? Will they get accepted into these prestigious high school programs and colleges of their choice? And the experience has been that we've in Long Beach had students accepted into every single program, magnet program that's offered. CAMS, Poly, all those schools that exist in our district. And as far as colleges, we've had students accepted Cal State Long Beach, we've had them in Fullerton, Berkeley, Stanford. We had 2 of our students go on to become valedictorians at 2 different high schools. One of them from an international baccalaureate school. She received the Gates Mill Scholarship, went to Berkeley on that scholarship, which is all paid for if you don't know what that scholarship is about. Went on to study, and she actually studied her master's in dual language at Cal State Long Beach, and if she wanted to continue studying her doctorate, the Gates Mill continues to pay for her. We had another student who received a $33,000 a year scholarship to attend Cornell University. She just graduated last year. So really, it's been of benefit. And the thing that is really interesting to me is even after they've graduated, these students, that community of students that was developed way back then, continues to exist even after they graduated from high school and college. Now that they're all on Facebook and whatnot, and you see some of the interactions, they're still in touch with each other, and that's what's amazing. They still communicate with each other and are interested in what are they doing with their lives and what's going on. We've had students, one's in Japan right now actually, she's I believe teaching English. We have another one who is going into the Peace Corps. We have another one who was in Bolivia, she's been down there for several years now. So our students have really gone on, and one of the things they talk about is how this experience really opened the world to them. And again, the community, but seeing the world as their own community that they can interact and live within. So again, and this is for me, it's being my 15th year. Next year, I'm really hoping to find out what became of all of our students, not just the high school programs they went to, but the college or postgraduate programs, or what they're doing with their lives. I'm planning the reunion for all our students next year, so I'm really hoping to find out and get some more data on exactly what became of all of our students. Thank you.
All right, and finally, Dr. Tara Fortune, who is an Immersion teaching specialist and coordinator of the Immersion Research and Professional Development Project at the Center for Advanced Research on Language Acquisition at the University of Minnesota. That is a very long title. Please.
Very long title indeed. I thought it might be kind of fun for me to share. We don't have a lot of data actually in the United States about, where are those immersion students now. But some years ago, when one of our Minnesota immersion programs, Robbinsdale Spanish Immersion, became 20 years old, one of the former teacher administrators of the school did a survey, and we published it in our AC newsletter, where we try to publish so many things on language immersion education. It's written for and by those involved in immersion education. And Millie Milgren found out some pretty interesting things about the immersion graduates that she was interested in following. They had about 200 graduates that also responded to these surveys, so it was a pretty rich data set.